in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This is someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
There? Were there no signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the co-host of Relatives Fight CPS, and I also work for the law office of Vincent W. Davis. My co-hosts tonight is Michael and Cassandra, and our guest today is Carla. Now, I want to share something with you guys that I shared earlier. This is the new law for Governor Newsom signed this law. It's in full effect as of January 1st. It's the Nancy Skinner SB 354 law, which removes obstacles in the foster care system that have prevented children from being placed with a relative, caregiver, or may have a past conviction. Current law can prevent someone from caring for a child even when their past eviction is decades old and they pose no safety risk to the child. Social workers use that as an excuse. For example, if you have Michael, if Michael has a conviction when he was 16 and he for petty theft, he stole a pin from the store, whatever, then they will go and say Michael is 45. They will go back when Michael was 16 years old and say, oh, Michael, we're not going to give you your children because we found out that you have this record on you against you when you were 16, right? And he's the father. This is just an example, not that he does have a record. However, they used to use excuses like this. So Nancy Skinner made that law and Governor Newsom signed it. But, however, there's over 60,000 children in foster care currently. Okay? 60,000 kids in foster care currently in California, just so you know. That's a lot. And I have a feeling social workers are going to use this law, right? They're going to manipulate it. They're going to set rules in place that's going to violate this law. I don't know how they're going to do it yet, but they are going to do it. Because remember, they feel like they're above the law. So I wanted to kind of find out, like, what is the role of a juvenile court judge, right? So it says here, the most important person in juvenile court is the juvenile court judge. The role of a juvenile court judge combines judicial, administrative, collaborative, and advocacy components, right? The most traditional role of a juvenile court judge is to decide the legal issues in each of the described categories of cases. The judge must determine issues such as whether certain facts are true, whether, okay, a child should be removed from the parent, what type of services should be offered to the family for reunification, and whether the child should be returned to the family, right? To the family home. Now, that's the role of a judge. I actually had to look it up because none of this is happening. None of it is happening. None of this shit is happening in court because what the judges do is that they rely on the social workers and they go by what the social workers write in the damn reports. And then they say that it's facts. No, motherfuckers, they're not facts. They're lies. They're lies. That's bottom line. They're lies. And then the judges are supposed to do their due diligence to do checks and balances. Where is the checks and balances? Nowhere. Nowhere. They don't even question the social workers. They don't. So there's so much. There's like all these pages that I printed you guys just for me to understand. This is all the role and duties of a judge, juvenile court judge. Different than family. Okay? But none of this is, they're not doing any of this. None of this, okay? Also, and I mentioned this to you guys before, Title IV, it gives the state money, and that money is coming from the federal government for each child taken out of a home and placed in a non-relative placement. That's very important for you guys to understand. They get extra money for special needs children. And that's why oftentimes they make a normal child into a special need child. Okay? That's oftentimes. They actually make that child a special need child. In the United States, your children are not yours. Michael, your child is not yours. Cassandra, your child not yours. Carla, your child is not yours. Why? The child belongs to the state. The state has jurisdiction of your child because the United States took ownership of children through the public education because it's mandated. Okay? It's mandated. So you are like an incubator to the state. You are the oven that carries the baby, and the state gets jurisdiction of that child. Takes over the child from you. So where is exactly your parental rights in the United States? It's like missing in action somewhere. Are you guys following what I'm saying though? It's missing. So parents have no rights. So whatever the social workers does, anybody can make a false report against you. Anybody can accuse you of something, and they will take your child from you. As I mentioned to you guys before, Michael is a victim of CPS. But he actually is, to me, in my eyes, Michael is a survivor. I've known this guy for a long time. And he's a great man. He's a great father. He's a smart guy. And he has a mouth similar to mine. He speaks his mind. He does. And that's what I respect about him. Cassandra is also a survivor and a victim of CPS. Right? She's the non-offending parent, just like Michael is not the non-offending parent. So these two, like every person out there fighting for their children, but other people do judge you. Other people who are not in the system, they judge you. They say, "Oh, it's your fault.
She must not have her kids for a reason." That's what I hear all the time.
Yeah, it's for a reason, and it comes from your own family sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because they turn your family against you, and your family thinks the system works. Anybody that thinks the system works makes me sick to my soul. It makes me sick because the system doesn't work. The system works for people who are, for people who have connection to the system. The system works for movie stars like Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, all these people that have money and luxury cars and mansions. Cardi B. will never be a victim of CPS. Even if her child falls and injures his knee. But a mother and a father out there who are not in the same, high class standard with money and all that stuff, they fight for their children. They can't even afford an attorney, and they are trying to work. They're trying to make a living, yet they have to do all these classes. They have to exhaust all their energy to get their kids back. And not even any sign of hope is given to them. And it really pisses me off. And I God. CPS, when I tell you guys, is they're demonic. They're demonic. I read to you guys before about the laws once in California when a social worker is investigating a case. You can record them. You can audio record them, and you can actually video record them because they're public officials. Right? They work. They are Child Protective Services social workers. Once they became Child Protective Services social workers, they consent to be recorded. They consent. You guys understand what I'm saying? They already consented to it. But they don't want you guys to record because they don't want to have any evidence against them.
Absolutely. I just went through this probably about 2 or 3 weeks. Well, maybe about a month ago. Like I said, it'd been over a month since I had been able to get a visit. Well, a couple weeks since I've been able to get a visit. And I was trying to get something on the record because they were saying, because I have a restraining order against my ex-wife, that they couldn't, and there was COVID, that I couldn't do a Zoom visit because there could be nobody to supervise it. And I'm like, well, that's pretty fucking retarded because I've had Zoom visits with my son for over, a few times because of the COVID and everything like that. And they were supervised either by the foster mom or somebody from the department or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it's just it's pretty crazy how they I forgot what was it, how they do what they do.
They do. They make sure. See, the thing is, what I was talking about to people earlier, Michael, is that what they do also that people might be aware or might not be aware is that they actually tell children that the father or the mother canceled the visit, or the grandmother canceled the visit, or grandpa canceled the visit, when in fact it was the social worker that canceled the visits. Okay. And then they lie to the children and makes the children feel like the father didn't want to show up. The father is abandoning.
Or they don't tell you at all. I can't tell you how many times, like I live 45 minutes away from the county where this happened, and there's been times where I've driven all the way there for no visit, or I get a call, maybe right before, 5 minutes before the visit, but I'm already on the way there, so that's like 30 minutes. I've already been on the road before somebody tells me. And then, like I said, with this thing that happened recently, no, I got a letter in the mail actually saying that I couldn't have Zoom visits were not possible because I have a protective order against my ex-wife, and there would be nobody there to supervise the visit. So it's like, dude, how hard is it to get somebody from the social services or the visitation center or whatever to supervise a 1 hour visit? So it's just another way, and that's what the social worker has done in my case. Has sent like documents like right before a court date, just full of hearsay and shit that's not fucking true, and then submits it to the court like a month and a half to maybe 2 months out before the court hearing. She did this during the 6-month fucking review and then the year review. One was saying I was not trying to get into a particular service, which is complete bullshit. And she said that she called the place and verified that I had never attended or never been there for the intake process. I've been there fucking twice. And then during the 6-month one, they wrote some shit about me being, all some of my past criminal stuff, which is inaccurate, and they use it in their reports anyway, even though I've told them twice that it's not accurate. You know, it has all these extra charges in there and all kinds of stuff. Like, but just shit that paints me in a negative light. You know, that's like, that's their that's like standard procedure for these people.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Fuck with your business.
Definitely. I was painted in a whole nother light. My stuff from my mom and me when I was younger, how we interacted, got brought up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have to take domestic violence classes, because of the things that happened between me and my mother. Not even things that are happening with me and my kids, like at all. Like nothing to do with me and my kids.
Right.
Me and my mother.
The past.
And
the past.
Yeah, the past. Everything in the past got brought back
against you. Who, you know, if you're Christian, you'll understand that. Who brings the past against you? The devil.
A social worker.
The devil. The devil. Well, the social workers are demons, right? They're demons in their bodies. They're not human. They're demonic. Because a demon, like I mentioned to you guys several times, demons need a nest of a human to live in. You know that, right? The demons have to use humans to do their own to create chaos. And you have to be literally soulless for a demon to take over. You have to be dark inside. You have to be an evil person to begin with, right?
Weak. You have to be weak.
A weak,
you have to be weak,
coward, narcissistic, sociopathic asshole for a demon to nest in your soul, in your body. And those workers are those assholes that the demons use, right? Because their lies is so many, and actually they actually blame you for the trauma the children are facing. The children are facing trauma, abandonment, confusion, chaos, and their little brain can't process that. And then they blame the parents for making the child do this, when in fact it's not the parents, it's you motherfuckers that actually did this to the children. The minute you steal the child from the parent, you fuck their whole life up.
Yep.
And then they blame the parents. And then America, the land of the free, all these motherfuckers out there who actually have money, they say, oh, you must be a bad parent. You must be a bad parent because they took your kids from you, and they start judging you. And that's what pisses me off. They actually judge you. And when in fact you are the victim of their corrupt system. You know what I'm talking about, right? If a mother is, oh my God, if a mother is dealing with DPSS for food stamps and cash aid because, say, the father left her, right? And now she's trying to care for children, and she was a single mom. I mean, she was a stay-at-home mom. She didn't have a job, and all of a sudden the father leaves her. Guess what? She has to make ends meet to survive, right? But once she applies for DPSS and takes food stamps and cash aid and all this, she becomes a target with the state, right? She's going to be the next victim because now she has a case number, right? The children, they already know where the children are, where they live, and then they find them. And then they go to their home and say there was an anonymous call made. That's bullshit. Who made the anonymous call? I can't tell you. What do you mean you can't tell me? They go in there, they steal children with the police officers, and they tell the mother, you have no right to your child without a court order. You have no rights to the child without a court order. You're actually guilty. You're not innocent until proven guilty, as the United States wants us to think. You're guilty until proven more guilty. And then if you speak your mind, when you speak the truth, then you become a target. Right? You become a target. because you
Absolutely,
speak in your
Emily.
mind and you speak in the truth. So where is that freedom of speech? Where is that at? What's happening with that?
It's another one of those rights that don't exist. You know, somebody
It
made them
doesn't.
up,
Yeah.
and nobody, nobody follows them. Just like the rules of the court. You know, like in my juvenile dependency hearings, um, there's like there was like 15 people in there that had no business being involved in a juvenile dependency matter.
Mm-hmm.
I still have no idea who these people are, but I believe it's supposed to be, the attorneys and the court, the people that are with the court, but not, people with other cases that are not involved with the juvenile
Mm-hmm.
dependency case. Like I saw my ex-wife's public defender in there, the attorney that I had fired, the court-appointed attorney I had fired, she was in there. Like all this shit was there to, and plus all these 10 other people
Mm-hmm.
to antagonize me and make me feel uncomfortable. That's the game they play. And this is the one thing that people have to understand is just when, as a non-offending parent knows, I'm sure she does, when you think it couldn't get any worse or they won't go any lower and make any
Mm-hmm.
other fucking shit up about you, oh,
Mm-hmm.
they do it. They will. If they
Mm-hmm.
can't do it themselves, then they'll bring in another social worker or another somebody to help them do that, to get the
Mm-hmm.
reaction they want out of you, or to make you
Mm-hmm.
just hurt and feel pain, because they get off on that.
Mm-hmm. They do. They get off on that. But you guys have to understand something when it comes to a narcissistic or a sociopathic person, especially a covert narcissist. They actually they're thrilled that they're hurting you, but they're covert. So basically, they're happy, but they won't show people that the public, but they will show you that. Get it? They will make sure you see them smiling at you because to them a narcissist wants always to win, right? They want always to win. So how are they going to win? They have to destroy others in order for them to win. They have to bring your spirit down in order for them to win, right? So when they retaliate against parents it's because they want to break them, and the only way to break you is through your children. You understand? If somebody comes and beats you up, Michael, right, and you're a grown man, right? You would rather be beaten up than somebody stealing your child. You can
Oh,
handle it.
100 times over. We got the
Mhm.
best UFC fighter, heavyweight, whatever it
Right.
is. I'd rather get my ass pummeled by him
Yep.
on a daily basis
Hmm.
than have what is I've
Yeah.
had to experience for a year and a half now.
Yep. And the devil, what does he choose? The only way to hurt you is through your child. It's true. I'm being honest with you guys. So you guys have to understand you're not dealing with normal people. You're dealing with demonic entities. 100% demonic. There's absolutely no other way to put this because they smile at mothers when they cry. They accuse mothers of being unstable mentally because they're hysterical for losing their child. Fathers are crazy because they're defending their family. What the hell is this? You're not supposed to have any feelings. You're not supposed to have any emotions. If you have emotions, that means you're crazy. No, motherfuckers. If you have emotions, that means you're alive. When you have feelings, it means you're alive. But they don't want you to have feelings. They don't want you to have emotions. They want you to be, how can I say it? They want you to feel nothing. Because how dare you feel something? It's gonna the perpetrator will always accuse the victim, right?
Well,
Right?
Miss G, I don't think it's that they don't want you to feel anything.
They
I
don't want you to
think
show it.
I think they don't want you to show it, and they put you in that role where you have to if what is it? The only feeling they want you to have is to suffer, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
anything other than that they can turn it any way they want to because they lie to the courts about everything, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the way they detain kids, so they're starting there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like any little emotion you do show, whether it be positive, or negative, they can twist that and turn that any way they want. But they do want you to feel something, and they want you to suffer. They want you to feel pain. They want you to know that they're laughing at you behind your back. Like, I've heard it, like, on phone conversations, you know, that, like, you can hear there's always a couple of them in the background, you know, when they say something, you know. I think it was after the 6-month hearing, this other dude started calling me. I'd never talked to or spoken before, and he was thinking of what they're going to do just in case the reunification shit doesn't work out. And I was driving, you know, I drive a manual stick shift or whatever, and I was you know, on the phone, and I was gonna, you know, I was getting the number for my cousin, you know, so it's kind of hard to do it. And I was like, can you wait? I'm almost home, you know, blah blah blah. And you know, I can hear these guys laughing in the background, you know, my social worker, and I don't know, there's a couple others. And I did say something about like civil rights, and then the laughing stopped, and they hung up the phone, you know, like. But yeah, they get off on. It's like we're in a really shitty position because there's really you're, you know, straight up damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And the judges, oh my God, the judges, I literally laugh at judges because they actually don't know what they're doing. They really don't. And I don't care if they went to Harvard. I don't care where they went. I don't care. Common sense is not taught in schools. You don't have a certificate say this judge has common sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. It's disgusting. Carla, thank you for being patient. I would love to hear what's happening with your case. What county is your case in, Carla?
I am actually in Virginia.
Okay, you're in state Virginia.
I live in a small county, a small college town, and back in 2019, my granddaughter was illegally kidnapped out of my daughter's arms with no court order, no warrant, no evidence, and sent to Florida to never be seen again.
I'm so
they
sorry.
took her.
I'm very sorry. That's horrible. I'm so very
sorry. Thank you. It all started because my daughter, we took her to the doctors for some concerns of hers. My granddaughter was 3 at the time. And so we take her to the doctors. It was the start of COVID. So I couldn't go inside. So my daughter takes my granddaughter inside. I wait outside. My daughter said the doctor took off the baby's diaper, looked at her butt, and said that she has been sexually molested because she has genital warts. Now, back at the 3-year appointment for my granddaughter, which was a couple months prior to that, the doctor that looked at her that day was a woman doctor and told my daughter not to worry about it, that it was skin tags. That was for an appointment that she had to go to school. So she had to have a school physical to go to school. She was for speech. She was going to school for speech. So they told her that they were skin tags at her 3-year appointment. So they told her not to worry about them. They'll go away. So my daughter didn't. So she had some concerns a few months later, and the doctor took off her diaper and looked at her, lifted her butt up, and said, this baby has been touched. She's got genital warts. My daughter, she's dumbfounded. And he showed her some pictures that she said that didn't look like what the baby had, which they did look like skin tags. And so he showed her some pictures on his tablet, and she's like, that doesn't look like nothing. And she wanted to come and tell me. So he let her come and tell me. And she comes outside. She's all hysterical. And she tells me what had happened. He had implied that maybe I had done something, or her brother or brother's father. And she freaked out and she's like, no. So we go back inside to the doctor's office. The nurses let us inside. We go into the back. There's nobody to be found in the back. So I tell my daughter, let's go to the emergency room to get our second opinion. So we do. We leave. The nurses, they try to stop us, but I'm like, no, we're going to get our second opinion. By law, we're allowed to. So we leave. We stop by my house to let my family know what was going on. And we go to the local hospital, which is about 3 miles down the street from my house. So we go. Again, I have to sit outside. A detective comes to my house with a social worker. And my son's father, he calls me and he puts the detective on the phone. And I was like, do I have to tell you where I'm at? And he's like, yes, absolutely. I was kind of hesitant on telling him where we were, but I told him. And they come up there. They had to fly up there. They were there like in 2 minutes flat.
Oh my God.
He had to fly. And I was sitting outside. And he's like, well, I didn't think y'all were going to show up. I was like, why not? So they go inside. I stay outside. They go to the social worker and the detective. They come to the hospital. They go inside. They talk to my daughter. My daughter refuses to talk to them without me. So they finally let me go inside. And the baby is in with another person in a different room. We go into a different room with the social worker and the detective. The social worker, she didn't say a word. I guess she came from the other surrounding county that we live in, because we live in a different county. And the other county's right over the bridge. And the doctor's office was in a different county. So I guess they got a social worker from that county. So the social worker didn't say a word. It was only the detective that was talking. And he didn't really stay long. He just asked some simple questions, and that was it. So we go back in the back with the baby. We got to the hospital after the doctor's visit about 4:30. And we didn't get out of the hospital till about 11:30 that evening. They put that baby through a full-grown rape kit. And all tests were negative. Every last test was negative. We're not disputing that she has genital warts. We know she does. We're just disputing how she got them. Well, we're at the hospital. They do their rape kit. They wouldn't let me change her diaper for 7 hours. For 7 hours, she sat in a pissy diaper. So when I change her, she's soaked from her clothes, the bed, her diaper. So they had to give her new clothes, of course, change her diaper. But she was as red as this lighter right here. Sorry. She was really red down there. It's the only way I can explain it.
But who said it genital warts? Was it their doctor, their clinic that said it? But another doctor said it wasn't warts. Right?
Her primary care physician, I guess there's a lady that works for him. I guess when he's off, there's a lady doctor that covers for him. She's the one that said that they were the skin tags. It was the lady doctor that said they were skin tags.
So it wasn't warts.
It was the male doctor several months later that said they were genital warts.
That male doctor, was it the clinic? Is it a clinic or a doctor that they sent you to?
No, it was her primary care physician.
Primary, okay. And so you have two different diagnosis from two different doctors.
Yes.
Okay.
But when they said that they were skin tags, the lady didn't put it in her medical records.
First of all, I'm not a doctor, but common sense states that if the child was, God forbid, was being molested, right, her butt or that area is going to look like it, right? It's not going to just stay the same.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, this is so much.
Oh,
They
it
put
gets better.
that child through hell. But go on, Carla, go on.
But the doctor at the hospital in the ER said, hold up, that doctor overreacted. Because yes, you can get these other ways, especially a child that age. So he was the one that ordered the forensic test. And that's the kit. They ordered the kit and everything came out negative. Everything. So we go home that evening. We didn't go to bed until late. And the next morning, the social worker, the same social worker that showed up at the hospital, showed up about 8 o'clock the next morning. I tell her, it's a little early, don't you think? You're not even open. And she's like, I know. And I wasn't about to wake up my daughter at 8 o'clock in the morning when we just probably just fell asleep. And she's like, well, I need her to sign some papers. I'm like, no, I'm not. We're not signing anything. Well, I have to call my supervisor. We'll call her. And then have a nice day. And then she left. And then it was the first of the month. It all started August 31st, 2019 is when it started. And then on September 1st is when the detective and a different social worker, the same detective from the night before, but a different social worker, I guess from this county, the detective calls me while I'm out paying bills and tells me I have to be home. So I get home. Good thing my state's a one-party consent state because I recorded everything. And I let them in my house. I know I didn't have to let them in my house, but I let them in my house. But I recorded everything. And within the first 5 minutes, the detective told me, whatever you're saying, we're not believing. I said, well, it's time for us to get a lawyer. He said, call him. That'll be the worst mistake you ever make. I have it on tape. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They say that to a lot of people, Carla. They actually threaten people and tell them if you hire an attorney, you will not get your kids back. Yeah, they do.
Yep.
They do. That's why they're assholes. Go on.
Yep.
Go on.
And they were in my house for about an hour. And that was the only time when I asked for a lawyer, because the social worker had asked who came through the door, which was my underage son. He was 17 at the time, and his father. And I was like, no, they have nothing to do with this. I know the rules. I know the law. I don't have to answer you. And then that's when I bring up the lawyer. So they were in my house for about an hour. They leave. No signed papers, no nothing. They leave. That was September 1st. Couple of days passed. They had us take the baby to some psychologist to talk to her. And where the baby wasn't really talking, she couldn't really get any answers out of her or something like that. So they did that. The test came back from the kit, all negative. So from September 1st all the way up to during that month, we had to go for interrogations. I recorded those too. Every time we asked for a lawyer, why are you guilty? No, that's our right.
So they see that getting a lawyer is because you're guilty?
Mm-hmm.
No, assholes. We need a lawyer to protect us from you mother F's. Okay?
Well,
Go on, Carla.
They wanted us to take lie detector tests.
Hmm.
They wanted us to register as sex offenders. They wanted us to take fingerprints. What else? Trying to think. Within that month, it took them. So we did the interrogation. We go and do everything that they say, except for the lie detector test and registering as sex offenders and stuff like that. We did not do that. On October 9th, they wanted my daughter to come to the police station without me. Because during this whole entire time, even in the interrogation, I take papers that I printed out off the internet, medical journals and all this and that, saying babies this age can get this by other ways, not just by sexual touch. So the social worker said if she gets her information from the CDC and Wikipedia. Well, Wikipedia and CDC say the same thing. A child this age with just one symptom, genital warts, is not a sign that she was abused because she was in a diaper. So on October 9th, they had my daughter come in without me because I'm very voicey about it. Because no matter what, she was touched. I go pick up the baby. The baby was in Head Start. And so my daughter has a ride to go to the police station. And I go pick up the baby, take the baby to the park. Well, I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. It was about 2 hours. Here comes the detective. He comes up to me. I said, they're taking her, aren't they? He's like, yep. Well, come to find out, he had another police officer come to the park and stake me out. Apparently, they didn't get the right pictures of the family that they were supposed to be looking for, which was me and the baby. So I get the baby in the van. We go. They're telling her not to answer the phone. Don't answer my phone calls. So I'm calling my dad. I'm calling my sister. They're like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I don't know. Well, they make me go to social services. So they have my daughter leave the police station, go to the house and pick up some stuff for the baby because they're sending her to my sister's house, which is 3 counties over. And this is all on a Friday afternoon, about 4:30. So my sister comes. They didn't want me inside. That's the first time my daughter ever signed a safety plan, was the day that my sister came to take the baby. So the weekend is the baby's my sister's house. Sunday morning, my sister calls and says the social worker called and said that they have placement for her, because I don't have any family here besides my dad and my sister.
Where's your
We moved
sister
up
at?
here.
What state is your sister at?
My sister lives in Whitville.
Okay.
Whitville,
So
Virginia.
did they tell you they cannot place the child with your sister?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did they tell you that they cannot place the child with your sister?
No. They said that my daughter had to send the baby to some relative.
Okay. Did they send the baby to a relative?
Yeah, my sister came from where she lived at to our county. We live in 2 different counties. She came, it was about an hour from where we lived to her house. So she drove about an hour away to come and pick up the baby.
Okay.
Because they made her come and pick up the baby.
Did they make her become a foster licensed auntie?
No.
Really?
Nope.
Mm.
Nope. They only made my daughter and them. Oh, it gets better. Oh, it gets way better.
Okay.
They only had my sister sign a safety plan, and that was the very first safety plan my daughter signed. So she calls that Sunday
Mm-hmm.
and says that the social worker will be calling probably or in a few minutes or so. So we wait. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon when the social worker calls. Now, I don't have any family besides my dad and my sister, and they live together. And because my mom passed away, so that's the reason why we moved up to Virginia, was so I can come and take care of her. And then she passed away.
I'm sorry.
And so my dad moved in with my sister. Thank you. And so the social worker asked my daughter if she had anybody else. We're like, we already told you we have nowhere else for her to go. I said, I may have one more person, but they live in Orlando. She said, try to get a hold of them, see what you can do. You have 10 minutes. So as she's saying this, we're like, okay, well, how do we get the baby back? Okay, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry. So she said, you got 10 minutes. So I make the phone call to the lady in Florida. I've known her all my life. She was actually there the year prior to me going down there to take my uncle off life support, and I stayed at her house for 2 weeks, and I've known her all my life. So I called her, and she's like, well, we're not, and it's on a Sunday. And she's like, well, I'm not at home. I have to discuss this with my husband. And I told her, well, the social worker said, well, you only have 10 minutes. So the social worker calls back, and I give her the lady's number in Florida. I guess they talk to each other. I don't know what was said. And then they get on the three-way call with us. And before she does the three-way call, the social worker calls and said, have we found anybody? And we're asking her, how do we get her back? How do we get the baby back? She goes, oh, we're not talking about that right now. And we're looking at each other like, what? And then, so she gets a hold of the lady.
Social worker wants to, I'm sorry to cut you off. I was going to say, because the last thing a social worker is gonna try to do, is help you to, place the kid with a relative. I went through a similar thing, and
Michael, your microphone is staticky, baby. Maybe.
Is it? I'm sorry. All right, I'll shut up then.
It's still staticky.
Also, I had a relative available for my kids to go to. It was their aunt, their biological aunt. It was their dad's sister. She is also a foster parent in her county, and they still have not allowed them to go there at all.
Oh my God,
it's crazy. Like I don't.
But the reason they do that, and Michael will agree with me, is that they don't want to lose the funding from that county. So if they transfer the case, even though that's the law, if they transfer the case to a different county, they're going to lose that funding, and that county is going to benefit that funding. It's all about money. It's not for the best interest of the children per se. It's about the money. Follow the money. When you follow the money, you're going to see a corrupt system. Michael, do you agree with me?
Absolutely agree. Not only did they not want to, hopefully I'm sounding better. I'm sorry if it's still.
It's okay, baby.
They refused. I had some relatives that lived, 8-9 miles away. 8 or 9, 10 hours away. The social worker would become unreachable when some of my family members were looking for the placement. So my son didn't have to go into foster care. And when I tried to move out of the county, because I wasn't living in the county when it happened, but then I moved back because they were supposed to transfer my my services to the county I was living in, but they weren't doing it. You know, I waited like 2 months or whatever. I'm like, I gotta get started on this stuff. So I, you know, because I thought it would make it easier for them to get me the referrals and stuff to these services, I moved back into their county for like a month or two. And, you know, some other stuff happened, and then you know, that's why I have a restraining order and stuff. We'll leave it at that against my ex-wife. So I told them, I'm fear of my life. I got to get out of here. You know, I tried to work with you guys. It's not happening. I got to move. And the social worker supervisor and my social worker came to my place I was living at, and the social worker supervisor did after I told her I was going to move, she offered me tips on how to manage my money, where I could look for apartments in that same county. And they did everything they could to dissuade me from moving. So I gave it another week or two, and I just couldn't do it. Good opportunity came up where I live now, and I moved. And, you know, when I told the social worker that I had finally moved, I need you to start my services in this county, I got a reply saying, oh, well, you can get yourself into these services. You don't need me to write referrals. And I was like, well, what the fuck did you have me waiting for, you know, for 2 months over here, you know, and I moved back here. Oh, there's another thing. When I moved back into their county, she had her referrals and all that shit ready that day. You know, so it's like, yeah, it's obviously about money. There's no other fucking way that it can't be.
There is no other fucking way other than money. It's all about money. The thing people don't understand, you know, the social worker says, for example, we had a case where the grandmother lives in Ohio, right? And the case is in a county near LA. I'm not going to say which one, right? And the social worker told the mom, by the way, the mom had nothing to do with this. It was a babysitter that dropped the child when the mother was at work. The mother paid that babysitter to take care of the child while she's at work. Not a 15-year-old. It was a grown-ass woman. She was 24 years old, right? So the babysitter took the baby to the hospital, called the mom, you know, left work, went to the hospital, et cetera, et cetera. Then the social worker removed the baby from the hospital. And even though the babysitter said, it was my fault, it was her fault, I mean, they still held the mother accountable, right? You can't even hire a babysitter. I mean, it's disgusting, right? Then anyways, the mother, so fucking crazy. The mother had her grandmother, who lived in Ohio. And she said, I want my baby to go to my mom in Ohio. So the social worker said, oh, no, we're not going to send the baby to Ohio. And the mother said, wait a minute. She gave them a list of names, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, addresses. Nope, they wouldn't do it. They would not. They came up with so many reasons as to why they're not going to transfer the case. When I spoke to the mother, I told her the reason they don't want to transfer the case is because they don't want to lose the money. Because remember, each minute the child is in a CPS custody, they're getting money. That's like you're working 8 hours a day and you get paid 8 hours a day, correct? Well, the social workers get paid throughout the day. They get paid salary for every minute the child is placed in their custody, right? So why would they want to lose that? Because if they send the case to Ohio, they're not going to have that money anymore, right? So they're not going to move that case, right? But by law, Mr. Davis says, by law, right, they can't deny all 2,500 family members. I mean, are you kidding me? And they have tried. You know, Michael, no, seriously, you're laughing, but you're so right to laugh. Because when Mr. Davis was telling me, I was like, what are you talking about, Vincent? They said by law, they have to by law send the children to anywhere in the world where there's family members. And
that's
for them to deny, it's crazy. For them to deny all these people, all these family members, are you kidding? They would rather pay money to the foster idiots than to actually leave the children with a family member, because it's a non-family member, you guys. Remember this, Title 4, placing the child with a non-family member. Non-family member. And when they get that child adopted, they make so much more money. And foster parents become foster parents to adopt because it's the cheaper way to go. For example, if I want to become a foster parent, God forbid, which I will never do, if I want to become a foster parent, then I will say, hey, social worker, piece of shit, I'm looking for a blonde hair girl with blue eyes. Okay? So help me find her. Okay, ma'am, we're going to send you one that's 4 years old. No, I'm looking for a baby. Right? Then they send the 4-year-old for now until they find that baby for this piece of shit foster mother. Right? Then they find the baby, and then, they tell her, okay, Miss So-and-so, you want to adopt the baby? Yes, I do want to adopt the baby. And then they leave the child with her for months and months and months while they tell the parents to do this and do these classes and do this and run around. And they're exhausting the parents. And then they prolong the court hearings, postpone it. Then the judge, the stupid judge, right? Stupid. Remember that stupid judge tells the mother and the father, I'm reluctant to give the child to you because the foster mother and the child bonded. You mother piece of shit. You stole the child. The child is not bonding. The children adapt. Adapt, not 100%, but they try to. But then the child wants to go home to their mommy. But the judge says, no, I'm reluctant to break that bond from the foster parents and send you the child back to the mother and the father. What the fuck is this about? Just think about what I'm saying. It's sick. A person that thinks like that has to be sick-minded, sick idiot to say that.
They want to adopt. Sorry, my daughter's last hearing was in July. On July 20th, they want to place the baby up for adoption because the baby's having anxiety because all she wants to do is come home.
Oh my God.
All she wants to do is come home. And they're putting blame on my daughter for the anxiety that she has. I've got a video that my daughter sent me of the baby begging her mom not to go, to take her with her. And they blame my daughter for that and are wanting to put her up for adoption when the goal was to return home. And because I've been very voicey about it, very voicey, they wanted me to move out with my teenage son and his sick, ill father who's now in a nursing home. They still haven't produced any evidence. Even the forensic nurse was there at the last court date. I got all the transcripts from the lawyer today because her lawyer actually cut her off and got her another, I guess, a court-appointed lawyer. The social worker that actually kidnapped my grandbaby actually did this once before and was sued in a different county here in Virginia. And come to find out, the lawyer that we hired was actually the one that sued her. And after she seen him at the very first court date 2 weeks later, she was gone. So the social workers have done this before in a different county. And once she seen the lawyer that we hired, I'm sorry?
Oh, I was gonna say, it seems like, in my case, I know it was, and in yours, premeditated. Like there was a plan, like you said, there was surveillance, and like they were watching you and things like that.
But it took them.
Yeah, a lot of these things are premeditated.
It took them 38 days to take that baby from the time they stepped into my house until they took her October 9th, and they didn't get the court order because we finally found the attorney. And when we found him and he got paid, he sent in the piece of paper for us to go to Orlando to go get her. And the social worker is telling the lady down in Orlando, do not give the baby back to us. And then that's when she got the court order on October 15th. So they took her October 9th and got the court order October 15th. And told the lady down in Florida not to give the baby back, even though my daughter's lawyer told her to give the baby back. As we were going to Florida to go get her, they were flying up here to give her back to the social worker. And that was in October. My daughter hasn't seen her daughter since June of last year.
Oh my God. I'm laughing not at you, Carla. I'm laughing at I'm not even laughing. I'm so angry at the system. I'm so angry and disappointed and disbelief, even though I know it's true, but I'm trying to.
They say no matter what, she was touched, even though there's no evidence.
It's disgusting.
I know where she got them from, and where I'm so voicey about it.
It's hard. And the thing about it is, like, grandparents, you guys, they also have this bond with the child, especially, honestly, I'm not saying all grandparents. I have seen some really weird grandparents that shouldn't be around their kids, especially when the grandmother is siding with the dad who's abusive to them or encouraging him. I guess I call them the enablers, right? They enable the abuser, the child with their kid who's abusing their grandkid, for example. They actually enable them to keep the abuse going or hidden. Those are the grandparents I do not have respect for. Okay. But when you have a good grandmother that loves her grandkids, it's the same intense love, similar to the mother's love. Nobody's gonna love like the mother's love, or the father's love and the mother's love. It's completely different. But grandparents have similar bond with their grandkids. Have you ever heard grandparents spoil the children and then they go home to mommy and daddy to deal with the spoiling part, right? But that's the grandparents' love. It's more like nourish, whatever you want, I'll do for you. You want my heart, here's my heart. You want my kidney, I'll give you my kidney for you to survive. You know what I mean?
They said I was a
it's
bad
love.
influence.
Yeah, of course. But that's what the abusers say. The abusers will always blame the victims. Remember that. The devil always blames you for your past. Remember? That's what they do. They blame you. They blame the victims for their own shortcomings.
Yeah.
Remember, social workers are ignorant. They're not smart people, you guys. They barely graduated high school. Those are the same piece of shits that ditch school.
They have no character.
They have no character, you guys. You don't understand. They mimic other people's characters because they don't have their own identity. Because they're not defined, because they're freaking idiots.
They're followers. Right? They're followers.
Yes. They're followers of demonic actions. That's why, like I said, they're the devils. They're the puppets for the devil. And the judges, right? Social workers use judges as puppets. And that's how it goes. It's like a pyramid. You understand what I'm saying? Michael knows what I said because I said the same thing to him a long time ago. It's
they're
like
enablers.
They're enablers.
Is what the judges are. They just, for instance, will be like, oh, do you still recommend, after hearing all this stuff, like, contrary to what the social worker says, then they ask the social worker, what do you recommend? And then they go, like, right up based off of that. Like, come on, dude. Like, they ignore, I can't say all, but a lot of factual stuff doesn't get, there's obstacles presenting your evidence into a case, and then you have to deal with the judge with whether he's going to actually pay attention to it, even if it does get admitted. So it really is from the start an all-out war. And if you take it as anything else, you're gonna fucking lose. Pure and simple.
Yeah, my aunt actually has dealt with CPS for all of her children because the social worker actually told her, I will be taking your children and your children's children and your children's children. Threaten my aunt that way.
They don't give a fuck.
They don't care. And pretty much have done that. They've had this one social worker has a vendetta out on my aunt and still does.
Oh, I've got multiple social workers out on me right now, and it's kind of scary. I'll admit, it is a little bit scary just because of what they're allowed to do. I mean, it's like, dude, you can't. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, but I can't. I'm so far in. My kid's that important to me that for all of it, we just need to be awareness. We need to spread this, to help the other parent not have to go through this shit. So there's a fucking change. Because these social workers alone, yeah, I'm not even gonna say it. They're a win, But you get 2 of them together, you get 3 of them together, then they can do whatever they want. And then, like we said, we're talking about the court-appointed attorneys. Then you go to the prosecution, and then the judge. It's all set up. And I've heard, a lot of older people say this, just oh, they're jaded, they're cynical, whatever it is. No, it's real shit. It's real shit. It's set up for you to fucking fail.
Like Georgetta, like you said, the social workers, how they try to find special needs children or try to make your kids into special needs children. They just tried to recently put my daughter on an IEP for her schooling. And thank God that the psychiatrist that was on the phone with me yesterday, because I had a meeting yesterday, and they said that they don't see why they should have to put an IEP, and her person that has the rights over her schooling, which isn't me, I guess, they said that she didn't think that she needed an IEP either, but the social worker and the group home lady were trying to get her an IEP. They were pushing for an IEP. I mean, she doesn't need an IEP. There's nothing wrong with her at all. She's perfectly fine. She's a 14-year-old girl who just doesn't want to go to school and doesn't want to talk to people because you guys are evil. You guys don't understand that she wants to come home.
The trauma. This is, it's.
Oh, you have no clue what trauma that she has. I just had,
It's they put the children in so much trauma. There was a social worker, the mother recorded, she said, you caused your children trauma, grief, and loss. And the social worker, the mother said, I caused my children trauma, grief, and loss. And she said, how did I do that? And the social worker told her, well, your child is experiencing that because of you. Because of the father. Because of you. Because of this, because of that. And she said, nope, my children are experiencing that because of you, motherfuckers. She actually told the social worker that. She said, you caused my kids trauma, grief, and loss the day you stole them from me. That's what she told the social worker. And she said the social worker laughed at her. And she said, they are not your kids. They are our kids. Now, I want to hear a fucking judge sitting on the bench hear a social worker say that. What is he going to do? Applaud her? Is that what he's going to do or she's going to do? Because the judges are not there when those motherfuckers laugh at mothers. They're not there when they're intimidating a father who's trying to protect his family. The judges are not there when they're using favoritism, right? Or they're putting children in a foster home that's related to them. That's what people don't understand. That's what judges don't understand. Is that social workers have a big part to do with what's going on with the children. And like Cassandra mentioned about what I said earlier, it's true. Her daughter, there's nothing wrong with her child. But they give them drugs to medicate them.
Oh, yeah. They try.
To medicate them. If the child refuses to take medicine, right? They're going to put her in a mental health facility.
Which they did.
Oh,
They
see?
have. She is there now.
That's, oh my God. But that's what they do. That's what they do. And Cassandra knows nothing is wrong with her daughter, but they're making her daughter look like something is wrong with her. There's a 16-year-old, right, that was put in a mental facility. You know why? Because she refused to take some kind of drug that medicates her. And she said that she couldn't function. Like, she was tired all the time, fatigue. She wanted to sleep all the time. It was like I can't remember the name of the drug, but they wanted her to take that drug. She's 16 and she refused to take it anymore.
A lot of side
Yeah.
effects.
Yeah. And then when she refused to take the drugs, she said, there's nothing wrong with me. I refuse to take this. Then they put her in a mental health facility because she refused to take the drug. But if they take drugs and they get what do you call it? When they take drugs, they get used to the drug. Then they say she's doing drugs. You understand what I'm trying to say?
A dependence.
If you refuse drugs, you're guilty. And if you take the drug, you're guilty. Does that make sense to anyone? Can anyone answer that question for me? Does it make sense?
No. Nope.
It doesn't.
They're grooming.
But the system is so screwed that it makes absolutely no sense. No sense whatsoever.
It does to them because they're grooming a person that's going to be dependent on the system for the rest of potentially the rest of their lives by getting them, maybe, declared as a mental health this, whatever. And then they get, addicted or, dependent on these medicines. So therefore they make money off, the person, the child, whatever it is until, so it's always they keep them in the system in that way instead of keeping somebody in the system for criminal charges. They keep them in the system dependent on pharmaceuticals. How about that? I think that's probably pretty. I think that's a revelation to me right now. I just listening to you, Miss G. I mean, kind of all these things kind of connect. The thing that sucks is when all this shit's first happening to you. Everything's happening so quick, and you're emotional. So you don't really get to process it all in the beginning. But after we've all been through this for a couple of years now, right? So now we're starting to see things and connect it, and now it's all starting to make sense. And Miss G's probably seen more than she cares to see. But listening to her, then now a lot of these other things are starting to connect too, and it's fucking horrible. It's disgusting and unthinkable. These people, government, whatever, are doing the unthinkable to the kids and all kinds of and just the people in general, and they're getting away with it. That's fucked up. It's just everything is. That's why the world is in the state that it is right now. It's it's a very dark place.
I'm reading Amy's comment, and she's mentioning about you can't trust school psychologists. Amy, I mentioned that in one of my show before, where a school psychiatrist she's hiding in Italy, somewhere in Italy right now, and the reason for that is because the principal told her to report to CPS a child that just moved to the school. He's a new kid, he's 7 years old or 6 years old. And they wanted her to say the reason the child is distant is because he's being abused. So the psychiatrist said no, because there's nothing wrong with the child. He just moved to a new county, new state. He doesn't know anybody at school. You know how we all are. When we go to school, we're shy, kind of trying to make friends. We don't know who we like. It's hard. So, but he wanted her to report the child. So she said, why are you so persistent about this? And he said, well, if you don't care about the funding and the teacher fund, right, account, then, That means you don't care. That means you're losing money. You're going to make us lose money. So she realized that the school gets money for making reports. Right? When she refused to do it, she was fired. When she reported she didn't know the law very well when it came to that. She reported the school to the state. And guess who the state sided with?
The school.
There you go. And then she started getting death threats because she exposed the system. She exposed the school to the state and took it to the mayor and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she actually recorded the principal saying this. She recorded the principal saying what he said. And that was her evidence. When they knew she had that type of evidence, they wanted to eliminate her. Do you see how messed up our system is? So people always make fun of or people always talk about the cartels and the mafia. But what kind of government do we really have?
One that doesn't favor the parent or the person that's honest. You know, we live in a world where fucking honesty is like committing a crime, basically being honest.
Honesty is a crime. Honesty in the United States is a crime.
And then we reward criminals and child abusers and all that. And when somebody tells the truth, it's a fucking crime. You know, it is backwards. You know, it really is.
Honesty is a crime, and honesty is a crime because honesty is exposing what? The truth. Exposing facts. Remember, a crazy person doesn't want to hear facts. They already know they're crazy. They already know they're messed up in the head, right? They already know they're demonic. They're assholes, but they don't want to hear it from you.
They don't want to admit it.
They don't want to admit it.
They don't want other people to know it. You know, same type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a crime. Like Adam said, it's a crime against families and children. It's a big crime against family and children. Because in the United States, mothers are incubators to the state. And fathers are
we get fucked with.
I guess the sperm donors. I don't know what you want to call
To them, I'm below that. I'm fucking the biggest piece of shit that's ever walked the planet.
Yep.
Pure and simple. That's the way I've been treated since day one, and it's not going to change. You know, it never will.
Yep.
So,
but they don't want grandparents or family or parents to have rights to their children. They don't.
Absolutely not.
They really don't. Amy said the school psychologist was not a good person. This piece of shit told the resource officer, the school cop, that I did not return phone calls. It was hard to meet in person. It was hard to get me on the phone. I didn't return emails. And when I called the school psychologist back, wanting to know why he lied, I could tell I was on speakerphone and he didn't say too much, which I felt really odd, which told me that the resource officer and probably other people were standing right there listening. That is correct. Exactly what you just said. Your hunch is correct. Remember, when a criminal, when a criminal does something, right? They're not going to admit to it. They're not going to admit to it, especially when somebody is around. A crazy person will admit it to you face to face, right? Because they're trying to intimidate you and bully you. But if somebody else is around, they become different, just like a covert narcissist. They're one way in front of company, and they're another way in front of their children. But if their wife is a judge or a district attorney, they're showing her a different side of them. You understand what I'm saying? They don't want to be exposed 100%. And if they forget and let their true identity come out in front of their wife, who's a judge or a district attorney, that is, guess what? They're going to blame the ex-wife for their action. They're going to say, oh, she pissed me off. She, did this and this and that. And the judge or the district attorney they're married to believes them and enables them. Right? Because he's using another person as why he lost his mind. But that judge or the district attorney they're married to is lost focus on the abuse this narcissist is creating in the child's life. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not who you are as a parent. It's who you sleep with. Who you if at night, right? That's who makes you who you are as a parent. Your connection to the system is what makes you who you are as a parent. It's not who you are as an individual inside, as the real you. So the criminals are innocent and the innocent are criminals in the system. Like I talk to Michael once in a while. I talk to Cassandra once in a while. I talk to other people. And honestly, they're victims. They're victims, but they survived because they're still breathing. They're still fighting. They haven't given up. So they survived. And I try to tell them all the time, you are not victims, you are survivors. Do you guys agree with me? You guys are survivors. All of you.
We're fighters, man. We're
fighters. You're survivors. I mean, but the system wants to break you, though. You guys have to understand the system's job wants to break you.
Every day.
Drugs exist. I mean, think about it. I don't even know who's worse, the cartels or the government. I really don't know, to be honest.
The government.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, oh my God. Because the government are trafficking our kids every day.
Because the government thinks they can be above the law, which they are above the law.
Yeah.
Straight up. So like cartel, they can get in trouble. Government, they can't. They can do whatever they want. They can just run the whole thing and we can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
All because they have their special little language with their special little laws of their own that have nothing to do with us or our rights or our constitutional anything. Nothing.
They are.
We don't matter.
They are the devil's
property.
puppets, right? They are the devil's puppets, and then the judges are the CPS puppets. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
CPS is actually the judge there, not the judges. I'm not kidding you guys. I'm not. All this shit is real. CPS is what runs the show. The judges are just there as an image, as a model, wearing black robes, sitting on a bench, just to look good. But the judges don't make. They don't. My God. Oh my God. They're supposed to follow the law, but they're not following the law at the same time.
They do when it benefits them, like getting a parent out of the way, or covering up, the brother-in-law's Gerald's, affair or whatever the fuck, like shit like that. That's when they follow the law to the T, but not when it comes to parents and their children, or an abusive ex-wife, husband, whatever. They pit. It almost seems like things are predetermined. Isn't it supposed to be like, okay, there's some evidence here, and then we make a decision? No, it doesn't go. It doesn't go like that. It's everything. Yeah, it's horrible.
It's like I'm reading what Summer wrote, you guys. And she said everyone involved in this injustice should be in prison. And I agree with you. I really agree with you 100%. They all should be in prison. And it's not the parent that needs to do parenting classes and domestic violence, It's the system that needs actually therapy. The system needs a psychiatrist to diagnose their asses.
Or an
because
enema.
the therapist. It's like they're saying that the mother need this, the father need that. No, you assholes. They need therapy because of you. And guess who benefits the therapist? Therapist benefits because she get paid. He
and
get
like
paid.
I said on the last show, like I said, like half these people don't even have kids that are taking our kids. Half these people don't even have their own kids to know what the heck they're talking about. How we're supposed to be a parent or how we're supposed to act towards our kids when they don't even know. You don't even know how hard it is to be a parent. It's very hard to be a parent. I had 3 kids. I know. Like, and I don't have any of them because of them. And they don't even know what it feels like.
And they don't care. They see that you're grieving over your child or children is a sign of empowerment. They see your grief as power for them. It's like it's like they're monsters and they feed on power. That's what a narcissist does. A narcissist and them, they feed on power. Does that make sense? So they are extremely, oh my God. Honestly, there is no, oh my God. What is their purpose exactly? I have no idea. I really have no idea. Other than to destroy families. That's it.
Destroy families.
That's
destroy. I don't know. Yeah, they're not. I was looking at the social worker something or other guidebook and what they're supposed to do. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I hope this thing's not all fucked.
Yeah, you're fine, Michael. You're fine, babe.
Okay. And a social worker in the child welfare, dependency stuff is supposed to stand up for social justice, supposed to empower, supposed to, help a person, let them know that they're worth something, of value, dignity, give them their dignity when they're dealing with the parent.
Right.
And it's to fucking do the exact opposite. They make shit up about you once they've already taken your kid. And then in my case, what's funny is they will dangle a carrot. Oh, you're doing everything you need to be doing, Michael. You're doing so great. And then the report comes out, and it's just fucking just full of just negative. This didn't happen. That didn't happen. Just to paint, to just paint me in a negative light. I see it now, but especially about 6 months ago, that stuff really used to fucking affect me. I'd read it, and I'd be fucked for a couple days, couple weeks. And not be able to still function, but it would just weigh on me so much and make it difficult for me to do my daily day-to-day life shit. Almost put me in a state where I'm in so much pain and so much anguish that I can hardly function. That's how hurtful and intentionally hurtful. And then there's that, but then the fact that they get away with it. And nobody does. The judge doesn't give a fuck. Whatever. I mean, it's just horrible. I mean, it is a very horrible thing. And support system, whatever you got to do to keep going is you got to think of your kids. I mean, it's fucked. Man, it's really hard.
It's really hard, especially when, like I said, when you have connection in the system, like a deep connection, you get away with it too. You know what I mean? When one of the parents have connection with the system, meaning that abusive parents gets away with it too.
Absolutely. I'd be crucified for some of the shit that was written about my ex-wife in these reports. I mean, it's so obvious too, can't do this, whatever, through the social worker's words. And then it comes to me and it's just he'll say one good thing and then it'll be well, it's just so negatively written. It's kind of funny, but it's empathetic at the same time. But more importantly, it's fucked up, and it doesn't do anything to benefit my child. He's, I don't even want to get into it, but yeah, that's just
no, it's true. Look, I'm gonna say this to Vicky and Vicky and Disrupt Racism. Honestly, you guys should get together. And if you guys want to include me, that's fine. You can email me at gat@vincentwdavis.com. Again, G, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, at vincentwdavis.com. All the people watching my show right now, please read Vicky's comment and Disrupt Racism's comment regarding bringing everybody together and start protesting.
I agree.
And actually, Cassandra, if you have an email address, you can give it to Vicky and Disrupt Racism. I mean, you guys seriously we all need to be one hand with this. These effers in America who think that parents are actually, there's a reason why, is because when they did the protest last year, the end of last year, they actually brought parents there saying, oh yeah, we did drugs. Oh yeah, we did this. Oh yeah, we did that. They brought parents there saying that. But what they don't understand is that 90% of the parents that are never done drugs, they're fighting for their kids. 90% of the parents who are not the abusive parents in the case, they're fighting for their kids.
Oh, so like guilty by association, like is that what
Yeah, and you know what's so sad is that even if the parent did drugs, right? Even that was like 20 years ago, whatever. You know, I have a client that said she did drugs. She tried drugs when she was 17 or 18. You know, right now she's like a grandmother, right? She's old. She's older, not old. She's going to kill me, but she's older. So why would they hold that against her, right? But why would you put the child in a foster home where the foster parents actually sell drugs? Think about that. They sell meth. They have a criminal record. But yet you don't want to leave the child with a father or a mother that had a drug record when they were 16 or 17 or 18? Or a grandmother? Are you kidding me? And they make everybody seem like they're just crazy. Everybody's crazy. But CPS is sane. They're the savior. You're not the savior. You're the prosecutors.
They're scum.
They're scum. You guys are scum. All of you. And I know you're watching my show. I know because you all tell me. And you think you can intimidate me? I don't care what you feel, what you think, because I already know you have no feelings. I already know. It's all about what you want to gain power, of whom you're looking for to devour. That's it. That's all it is. And that's what the devil does. You know, oh my God. All these people that you guys looking at right now, all these people, all these mothers are and fathers, they're great people. This grandmother is a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. I actually sent a message to Michael and I said to Michael, I think she's a sweetheart. Am I right, Michael? I mean, you're a sweetheart.
Great.
And it's so sad that this grandmother has to fight. Remember grandmothers back in the day when we were kids? And I would tell my mom, I'm going to grandma's house. I'm going to grandma's house. Right? That was my Disneyland moment. Why? Because grandma would give me candy. Grandma would, sit down and read books to me. Grandma would watch cartoons with me. You know what I mean? Grandma would let me drink orange juice at night when my parents said no. Orange juice at night. So it's kind of like grandma was more like the Disneyland of the family, right? You go have fun with grandma. Grandma spoils you. Then you go home to mommy and daddy. Nowadays, they make it so hard that grandparents don't even feel that they're grandparents anymore. Cassandra is a great mother who lost her kids to the system, not because of her, it was because of the father. And then Michael lost his child because of who? Because of the mother. So they're both the same, just different. Not all men are bad, not all women are bad. But damn, they tend to side with the bad and neglect the good parent who actually love their kids and actually take care of them. And then they make the good parent struggle to pay child support. Struggle. You don't see your child or children, but yet you pay child support. How fucked up is this?
It's
How crazy is this? So you're the slave in America. I'm being honest. You're slaved by America withholding your children. That's what it is. And then they see the parents as the sperm donor and the oven. And that's what it is. You have no rights. This grandmother, she got emotional when she was talking about the child. That's love. That's passion. That's compassion. That's love. When there's tears coming down, that means you're feeling the pain. That means you have remorse, compassion. But they want to keep parents silent. They want to gag them. You guys understand what I mean, right? They gag you. They don't want you to reveal. So you're slaved in your own country. It's supposed to be the land of the free and freedom of speech and parents' rights and all this. And people say, we want to go to America. No, honey, you don't want to go to America. You really don't want to come to America. Stay in your country. Am I wrong here, guys? Help me if I'm wrong. No.
No.
America is not what you think it is.
Far from it.
No, it's not. That's not America. That's something that this is not America. This is something else. This is not America. No. And that's the thing. When you speak the truth, oh my God, they sentence you. And one thing I don't understand is, why is it in the juvenile dependency there's no how can I say it? Where people go to court and then they rule whether you're guilty or not. You know what I'm talking about, right?
A jury.
The jury. Why don't they have a jury?
Yeah.
Why don't they have a jury?
That's what we're actually trying to do now, is take it to a jury trial. We're appealing her case from July of last year.
They don't have a jury in juvenile.
I don't know. The lawyer that my daughter just had, he actually dropped her. And we actually went and got her file today. And he said that we were going to appeal it and then ask for a jury trial.
Mm-hmm.
And he said once we do that, they're going to back off and probably give her the baby back. But since it's a new lawyer, court-appointed lawyer, they're not going to want to take it to trial. They're not going to want to do anything. So.
Are you sure you heard him say jury trial? Because I spoke to one of a juvenile dependency attorneys in juvenile court, by the way. He was a court-appointed attorney, and he left a couple of years ago. And he was there only for 1 year in a different state. I can't say the state because they will know who I'm talking about. But he left. He was there only for 2 years. He left when he started seeing the injustice that's going on, right? And he told me they don't allow a jury trial. They don't allow that in juvenile. That's what he said to me. That's what I was told. I'm not sure, but that's what I was told.
I don't know. I don't know. He told me at the last court date, which was in July. I just asked my daughter. She said, yeah, she heard him too. That he said that if we take it to jury trial, and they would drop it and give the baby back because they don't want to fight it. Because then they really have to. The judge shot down the bill of particulars at the last court date because they felt that the bill of particulars was already settled when Social Services put it in the service plan, that the reason why they took the baby, even though the forensic nurse said that there was no evidence and that, yeah, you can get it other places. This was at the last court date for the adoption. And I don't see why they didn't. If the forensics nurse is the one that looked at her at the hospital, and if the forensic nurse is saying that there was nothing, and she's the professional, then that judge should have sent the baby home. But of course, um, I thought it was all about the money at first, which it is. Don't get me wrong.
It is all
But
about the money. It will
I
always be
also
a.
believe
Mhm.
I also believe it's a racial thing because
No.
yes, I am a white woman, but my daughter, she's a black woman, and I don't even think they think that she's mine. I think they think she's not mine because if you see us in public, it's unless you know she's my daughter, you would never think she's my daughter.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt you there for a minute, okay? And I will speak the truth on that one. It doesn't matter
Okay.
what color you are. Do you understand me? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. If
Yeah.
you
I
have
see that
beautiful
now.
children and they want those children, they will take those children. Whether you're
Yeah.
white, whether you're Latina, Latino, whether you're green in skin color, purple, red, black, it doesn't matter. They treat
Well, see,
all children
I'm
because to me,
sorry.
there's beauty in all races. There's beauty in all races. Whether you're black or Asian, Middle
Yeah.
Eastern, white, it doesn't matter. Okay. So when they see the child is beautiful, the child is taken care of, that's an adoptable child.
Yeah.
Remember,
Because they didn't want my son. They didn't want the little white boy. And well, he was about to turn 18 too. He
it
was like
depends on
4 months
exactly.
shy.
Yeah. So he's about to turn 18. What are they going to do with him?
Yeah.
Okay. So that has nothing to do
Exactly.
with color. No. So people bring
Yeah.
race into this. That's bullshit. It's money. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Land of the
I
fee
understand.
and home of the paid. That's what America is. I mean, Jay said it perfectly. Land of the fee and home of the paid. That's what
Yeah.
America is. So all these soldiers going to fight for their country, wow, you deserve medals, all of you, because your country is not watching over you. Because they steal children from veterans. Because they're on they're taking after the war, if they're taking like some kind of prescribed medication, to help them cope with seeing their friend blown to a million pieces,
Yeah,
for example.
PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD. They say, oh no, you can't be, you cannot be a parent now because you're taking this. Mother, I mean, what the fuck are you thinking? He just fought for you. And you're stealing his kids from him and his wife because he has PTSD? Seriously?
They're also doing that to my daughter. They're saying that since she has a disability and gets a disability check, she's unable to take care of the baby. Now, at the last court date, they had 8 separate people that's never met my daughter testify against her. And the ones that came to the first court date, the doctor that evaluated us said there was no inconsistencies. But on that last court date, there was definitely inconsistencies with me. But at the beginning one, there wasn't. And they had people testify against her that has never met her.
Mr. Davis also, just not to interrupt you, Mr. Davis said for a jury trial in some state, maybe, but not in California. You are not allowed a jury trial in California. Okay. Some states you can. Some states, not even all states, by the way. So maybe your state, you can. Okay. So people understand this. They're not going to make it easy, right? They're not going to make it easy for you to get your children back. They're not. They're not. Like, at all. Seriously. Land of the fee and home of the paid, like Jay said. Land of the fee and home of the paid. That's the banner we should have everywhere. on our cars, our homes on 4th of July.
That'd be the
Land
truth.
of the free and home of the paid. Because honestly, I used to celebrate 4th of July every year growing up as a child. And I swear on the Holy Bible, you guys, once I realized how the system works, I have no desire to celebrate 4th of July like I used to. It's just another day for me. And that really breaks my heart because I was one of those women, you know. My family and my best friends would like come to the house and would be flags everywhere. You know what I mean? Pillows everywhere, flags, red and white and blue colors. And I used to celebrate it. Now, nothing. I have no desire. I don't know, Michael, if you feel the same way. I just don't have that desire anymore.
Yeah,
You guys know what I'm talking about?
it's hard to. I mean, yeah, like if I feel,
I just don't have it.
veterans.
Yeah.
What are we fighting for? What are you guys
Mhm.
fighting for? What are you trying to protect?
Yeah.
It sucks. There's no
There,
cause or conviction
no,
behind anything nowadays.
no.
With people.
And the social workers get away with murder. That to me, I mean, seriously, a social worker can probably murder somebody. It wouldn't, obviously they do probably.
They
And
do
they will
with
not
your
be held
character.
accountable for it.
They murder your character. They murder you as a parent. They murder you. They do everything but physically, uh, you know, take your life.
Make you draw that.
Dramatic or whatever, but that's pretty much what they do. That's what they've done to me. Or tried to. And I gotta admit, there's some days where I'm, either scared or beaten down. But those are just moments. Not. I got to think of the end. The end result. The goal, get my kids back. So I have to endure this shit for now. I'll keep going.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I'm just disappointed. Like I said, disappointed of it. It's disappointing. It's disappointing, and I'm looking at you guys, and honestly, I know the show is supposed to be 1 hour, but we're going close to 2 hours, and it's like this is we need to do something. So all of you guys all over the United States of America, get together, plan something. You guys need to protest. You guys need to be heard. We all need to be heard. We all need to be heard.
And here's another thing is like, people say they'll have my back and stuff like that and listen to me and shit, but then when it comes down to it, they're fucking nowhere to be seen. I'm left, by myself, kind of dealing with this stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, it is. You're right, Miss Georgette. It's up to, it really is up to us, if we want to make a difference. I think I saw a video of Mr. Davis. You guys got to get out there and vote. You guys got to make a difference. You guys got to take some initiative. You got to band together and stand up to this, I don't know, this evil creation known as CPS, seriously. So it is up to us in a lot of ways, too, to fight back and band together and do it in a controlled manner, in a controlled manner that still makes an impact, that people will see and remember and and just try to stay strong. The more people that are aware, we want to make everybody aware, right? So this doesn't continue to happen. I mean, I think that's the main goal. Well, one of the main goals. So, obviously we could get our kids back and stuff, but still, I would hate to have anybody have to experience what I've experienced for the last couple of years, or what any, the girls and Miss Georgette and what you've seen and experienced. It's all avoidable. It's not something that should happen. It could be prevented, and for some reason it's being encouraged almost. So it's just horrible.
You guys have to understand that, like, disrupt racism, get together again, you guys, and whether you're in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Los Angeles, um, Nevada, Arizona, get together, guys. Florida, all these places get together and unite and start protesting. Because honestly, you're dealing with demonic entities that have jurisdiction of children.
They have the numbers. They have the people. They're organized. That's the thing over
They're,
here.
they're organized crime. They're organized crime. Like, I swear, they're worse than the mafia. They're worse than the mafia. And it's disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we actually vote for these mother. We vote for them.
Or we don't vote. And that's just as bad,
It's just as bad. But you guys have to understand voting is important too. Just because you're a Democrat or a Republican, I want you to understand that means nothing when you vote for a president. Put this shit aside. Forget about your title as a Democrat or Republican. Your party, that is. Put that aside. Forget about that. You vote for the right fit, you guys. Don't just choose because you belong to that party. That's how the country is divided, by the way. The red and the blue, the donkey and whatever. Well, guess what? The donkey actually is smarter than our president right now. Okay? The donkey will never get lost. Our presidents do. Because they forget what they promised when they were running for office. And once they get in office, all this shit is gone. It's politics. But when are we going to have a president that actually cares? Right? For the people. When? When is that going to happen? That actually cares and stands up for what's right. Right? Are you guys agreeing with me?
Someone that makes a difference, I haven't seen, much of a difference in my lifetime, to be honest. I'm 37 years old, and I really haven't seen a huge something that really should be written about, like where you can really like look back and be like, wow, that was amazing. Like, I want to be like that guy. Like, no heroes, like none of the presidents I've had have really been a hero since I've been alive. Have been a hero. I think, whether it be outside of the presidency or while they're president, I don't think that there's been that kind of inspiration. Kind of like what's going on in, pretty always been it's been a steady problem is, not kids not having a role model, a father, in a lot of the houses, growing up too. That's something that's missing, and that's been missing for.
And you know what's so sad? I just got a text message right now. A couple of people that I have been talking to right now, they said that, hey, Georgette, we're supporting you guys 100%. Let us know who we need to contact. I'm listening to it right now. Please keep me posted. So there's a lot of people, you guys, who actually want to join this protest. So disrupt racism. Hey, if you want to get it together, I highly recommend it. Again, I'm behind you guys 100%. If you guys want me to be the voice, I'm 100% for it. 100. I really have no fear at all. The only person I love and I fear in a healthy way is God. So mankind are scumbags. They're scumbags. Because all these people, the stealing children, they're scumbags. And there actually will come a day when they will be held accountable. They will be held accountable. But don't ever think that you can give the demons power over you. Don't give them power over you. There is something called the law, and they shouldn't be above that law. Something has to give, and it has to be stopped. And honestly, I'm for it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? For
I
it?
think I'm for it.
I'm with
Me
you.
too.
See?
I am too.
I'm for it too. So let's make it happen. And when I say all over the states, I mean all over America. All over America. You guys hear me? Not just in one county, all over. I have seen mothers who actually die from a broken heart. This is real. We have a client in Pennsylvania that actually died. February 18th or 19th of this year from a broken heart. She's been fighting for her daughter, her 6-year-old daughter, for 5 years. And when she contacted us, the child was in CPS custody for 4 years and 6 months. The father is in tears. He called me yesterday because he can't live without his wife and his daughter. And I found myself being the therapist, right? I just, and I want to help him. And I'm encouraging him to make it for his daughter's sake. But it's hard, you guys. It's hard, as you guys know, because your kids are your soul. They're your soul. And the sad part is you're actually paying child support for children who are not with you. That doesn't make any damn sense. Right? Makes no sense. So we're gonna disrupt racism said we can start by meeting in DC and from there get bigger and bigger. I am down. I miss my babies. I can't move on without my heart. Yep. You guys know how to contact him, Michael, Cassandra. You guys know how to contact this guy or this person. I didn't even know if it's a guy or a girl. But yeah, we need to make it happen, and I'm down with it, guys.
Cool. I was gonna ask Miss Georgette and the girls, you guys would want to swap emails and stuff. That way we can communicate and stuff like that. If you guys are okay with that, I could have Miss Georgette give you mine or whatever. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Stick together.
Okay, so disrupt racism. Maybe I don't know how we're gonna get their email. Okay, think about it, Michael. Maybe they would.
The lady for 5 years, man. Like, I can't imagine. I've been going through not even 2 years, and that stuck with me. I feel the pain, man. Like, I swear I feel it more than some females do, and it's
wow.
I love my my kid. That was everything for me. I did a lot.
Yeah.
And then to have it ripped away, him. It's very difficult. So I can only imagine that it's so brave to be fighting this for 5 years. That's just died of a broken heart. That's terrible. That's criminal. That's I don't know.
That's crazy. So disrupt racism, you guys. She is a mother. She just said, I'm a mother. And she said, I have 2 children unfairly stolen from me by Illinois DCFS. Michael, I remember when I first spoke to Michael, you guys, he was, oh my God. Michael, did we butt heads when we first talked? Did we? Because I don't think you believed me.
No, I didn't. She's all, come on, Michael. They're gonna take that fucking money from you. They're gonna fucking. I'm just like, I was like, nah, it can't be that way. It can't be that fucked up. And then, she's like, Michael, it is.
Yeah,
You're
and
gonna
I
see
told
it.
him. I did tell you everything, and you called me like a few months later.
At the end of the year.
At the end of the year.
Oh,
Yeah,
Miss G,
Trisha.
I'm sorry. It's true. I should have believed you. I should have listened to you. And gosh, I wish I would have. I really do, because the unthinkable's already is being done every day. Not just to me, but to everyone here. And the million, hundreds, thousands, whatever around the nation. It's fucked up. It's wrong. It sucks. So
yeah,
Miss G, you were right. On the air, Miss G, I should have listened to you.
Golden words. I wanted to hear.
Everybody, listen to Miss G. She's telling you. She tells it like it is.
I do. I really say it like it is. It's the truth. Like I said, you're actually.
The truth hurts, and nobody wants to believe. It's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe. I actually had a father today, you guys, literally today, and I feel really bad for him and his wife, because they're good parents. But he thinks because they're innocent people that he doesn't need to get an attorney and just a CPS investigation. He doesn't think it's necessary. He thinks it's too much money. He's going to look for the cheaper plan. I'm like, what plan? This is not about cheap. This is about how to fight. You're against the state separately from your wife. Just so you know, separately. Each parent separately against the state and the county. So it's kind of like, it's not swap meat. You're not going to swap meat to bargain on a shoes. Right? And I think I told Michael this a long time ago. Michael and you laughed at me. I said, Michael, it's like you go into Rolls Royce dealership and asking for Nissan prices. It's exactly what I told him. And that's what I tell everybody.
Yeah, they're gonna laugh at you, and they're gonna know they can do anything they want to you at that point. Like,
yeah,
you don't have the right. I don't know, the right representation. Really. And just like with the car, you can't pull up to a stoplight and then act like you have a Ferrari when you have like a Honda Accord. It's just
exactly.
It's just you could see it and then
Yeah.
take advantage of you, and they'll take advantage of you. So you can't fool anybody with a bad attorney or a court-appointed attorney.
No. Well, I call them court pretenders because they really are pretenders. They're idiots. I can't stand them. They get on my nerves with their. Ugh, they make me want to vomit every time I look at one. I want to disrupt racism. We need to get your email so we can all plan this together. So if you're willing, if you have an email address that you're willing for people to find you and connect with you regarding this, it will be great if you could let us know, or maybe type it in and I will post it on the show. That'd be great. I hope she's still there.
I think if we go on Facebook, I'm not sure. Maybe we just type in disrupt racism in the Facebook search, then maybe it'll pop up. I'm not sure. Let me take a look. Yeah, oops.
You can see it on Facebook?
Not try. I'm not logged into it on this.
But look what she said, Michael. She said, we have to be serious for this to be covered by all media. We cannot be silent like we are criminals. We are not criminals. God bless you, sweetheart. We are not criminals. You guys are being treated worse than a criminal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is crazy. That is freaking crazy. That parents and grandparents have to fight for their own kids. It's okay. Yeah, here she said it's on a chat. It's on the chat.
Okay, I could see it.
Oh, I don't see it.
I was thinking about getting some neck tattoos and some face tattoos and stuff, and then like maybe that would make me more appeal more to the social workers or the because I've seen it all these other guys just getting huge breaks all the time, And you can tell they're like menaces, you know, like. And then I go in there and I get hammered, you know. I'm like the worst thing ever. So, I mean, it might not be fake. It might not be fake because I don't have the guts to get an actual tattoo. But no, I don't know, man. I'm trying to think outside the box here. You know,
I know. I know.
Nothing else is working. The truth.
Look what
isn't,
Disrupt
especially.
Racism said. They said they will judge you for that too. She's right. They will judge you for that too.
Oh, now he's trying to be cool. He thinks he's gonna get a break because he's got a tattoo on his neck. No. I don't know, man. I'm getting pretty desperate.
I had a mother. She said the judge looked at her with disgust in her eyes, right? And I asked her, I said, "What were you wearing?" She said, "Georgette, I was wearing a vest, a blazer, and she said I wasn't even wearing high heels. I was wearing, low heel shoes, like dressy shoes but low heel." And she said I was wearing pants, and the judge looked at her up and down and said, "Who do you think? What? Where did you think you were going?" Dressed like that.
Like she's.
Yeah.
Like was he
like she did
insinuating?
something wrong. Yeah, like she did something wrong. Yeah. And I asked her, I said, "Do you have a picture of you when you were there?" And she said, "Yes, I do." And she sent me the picture. She looked like semi-casual, what? Professional. She would look professional but casual. Does that make sense? Like, she was wearing khaki pants and a blazer, and just low heels. That's it. So the judge didn't like her appearance. And then she made a comment, and the judge laughed with the guardian ad litem and the workers, and she said, "Well, let's see what she's going to wear next hearing." Next hearing is scheduled on, and the judge went like this. Why would the judge say that? Think about it. It's what? To make the mother feel uncomfortable.
Well, the judge is supposed to. I don't know. I guess it's as simple as this: judge based on the evidence, not like what a person. Not because you can't have the bias already, because you don't like what somebody wears.
Right.
That's juvenile, kind of like these social workers and their behaviors and their attitudes and their probably intelligence level too. Like, yeah, I don't know what a judge is supposed, I think, to take the emotion out of it, right? He's supposed to judge based on what's. I don't know. I maybe I just think old school or whatever, but I don't know. I'd like to see like the judge's ethics, like the handbook of what he's supposed to actually do. Because in my case, all he does is I don't know. I'll stop right.
It's baby. You know what? Speak your mind, Michael. Speak your mind, because honestly, the truth sets us free, you guys. We can't live in a dreamland. We can't live in La La Land. I mean, oh my God. Oh my God. Seriously? The way we live on this earth around social workers and this government, it's like we're how can I say it? It's like living around. Oh my God! How I can't even find the words, you guys.
We by not saying anything and just
it's crazy.
Letting this happen, we empower the social workers. We empower all these people by That's what I'm so surprised by. Like nobody wants to like stand up and say anything to these people. Like I said, I end up being left alone a lot of times. When it comes down to it. To actually calling a person out or doing whatever. And it sucks. We just can't be. I mean, they're basically bullies, with the government name tags or badges.
Yeah, it's Summer's. Summer, I'm gonna read something that Summer wrote after this. Disrupt Racism said she brought cocoa for Cocoa Puffs when I brought meditation and toys for her baby. When she brought meditation and toys for her babies, the social worker pretty much told her that she's manipulative. How? How is that manipulative? Do you see how stupid that is? And I believe her. I swear to God, I believe her. Because I've heard social workers. I've seen them do shit like this. She's being manipulative, but she doesn't bring anything at all. The mother was not prepared to be with her kids. You mother piece of shits. And then Summer said living in Satan's house. That is correct. What I was trying to say, you're right, Summer, thank you for that. Living among them is like living in Satan's house. Literally. That's what they are. It's a nightmare. They're paid thugs. They are paid thugs. Mike just said that. They are paid thugs. I mean, gang. Yep, gang. All of them are so corrupt, you guys. We really have to do this right and disrupt racism. Again, please, you guys. Michael, let's make it happen. Cassandra, let's make it happen. You guys are younger than me. You have more life in you.
I don't know, Miss George. Hey, you got some fight, man. Like, I love it. I mean,
I'm too old. I'm too old for this. No, just kidding.
No, you're not. I think you're just getting started, really.
Yeah, we're just getting. I'm just getting started. You're right. I'm just getting started. Let's make it happen, Michael and Cassandra, and disrupt racism. Amy, let's make it happen. Autumn, Summer, Jay, Vicky, Carissa. Let's all get together, you guys, and make this happen. I want to say thank you guys for joining me. I received a couple of requests, or 15 requests from people who said to make my show 2 hours long. I need to discuss this with my team. That's Cassandra and Michael, and he's like, oh, I don't know what this you said. But Cassandra is like, I'm down. But Michael is like, wait a minute now. I know that move, Michael. Don't ever do that. So you and I shall talk about it, Michael. We shall discuss. Okay?
Sure.
All right. I am going to have to end the show. Thank you guys for joining me. God bless you all. Don't give up. And please, let's do what Disrupt Racism wants us to do, is to gather. And like I mentioned before, we need to get together and we need to be one hand. Okay? Because divided we're conquered and united we stand. Does that make sense? United we stand together. Thank you guys. God bless you. May God give you strength daily. And I'm going to say this. I'm Christian and I can say it. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Okay? God bless you. Meditate on that. And we'll talk soon. Bye, you guys. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, baby.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.